I see. Music is fine. I need to blink the magic stream. Alright. Hey there, heroes! My name is Hero Girl. I'm your friendly local neighborhood hero too, but I'm here to let you know that if I can do it, so can you. And, I'm not so sure I can keep doing it. And by it, I mean that I've got some things to talk about before we dive into today's deck profile for today's stream. So, with Bloomburrow, we are currently 14 days away from the rollover. We're going to be having the new set. Oh god, what's the new set called? Oh, Duskmorn. Yeah, Duskmorn release date. It's going to be coming out on Arena the 24th. Yeah, it's going to be coming out the 24th on Arena. Actually, let me mark that down on my calendar real quick. And with Duskmorn's release, I think I'm going to be changing things up just a little bit. I'm going to talk to my wife about some of the scheduling problems that I've been having lately in terms of like how much time am I putting into my stream versus how much time am I going to be putting into my projects. Projects like the Yuri on Ice video that I'm still working on. Today I started adding the B-roll. It's been going very nicely. I'm going to have to hunt down for some very specific footage pieces, but for the most part, because it's only 12 episodes, I have all the footage right there on my drive. So that makes that very easy, but it's also like, oh god. So essentially, because I want to continue making Monday a magic stream, I'm going to have to keep some things in mind as we go. Now, the reason I bring up the fact that Duskmorn is going to be coming out in 14 days is because by the time that we typically get about a month out before a new set comes out, I have exhausted everything that I think I'm really excited for when it comes to new decks. I did come out and I did try some of these other things. I had a lot of fun putting together the frog deck. I had fun, I wouldn't call the lizard deck fun. It was more of a surprise than anything else. Finding out that Vren is actually a relentless rats deck, it was pretty cool. The bird deck, however, doesn't really excite me as much. I have not done anything with the squirrel deck. I spent all this time thinking that I would, finally have the commander I wanted to use for green-black artifacts, and I just did nothing with it because as soon as I started looking at Camellia, I got decision paralysis. I probably get from the website I saw. Not even decision paralysis, just more like I saw the deck as is. I saw this card and I was like, is this really the commander I want to try using for this? I've seen some people using the was it Yarg? Yigra, Eater of All. I've seen people using Yigra, Eater of All as the commander for this, and I kind of just realized, oh, this actually is just the black-green artifact commander's deck because you can do so many disgusting things with the fact that your creatures are now the artifacts now. So anytime that you have like any of these, target took lets you sacrifice 3 food, so you can actually sacrifice all of your tokens, your food tokens to make that. You can go ahead and use Trail of Crumbs, sacrificing all your creature tokens. Once I realized that Yigra was the commander for that and not Camellia, I just kind of lost all interest in trying to pursue that deck, at least for now. Yigra is probably one of the stronger enablers of that strategy, but Yigra itself, weirdly enough, is just kind of a dumb beats deck. And I am not like a big fan of playing with just big dumb beats decks. But that's also something that I'm going to try and get myself out of. One of the things I'm going to try doing just for my health as a player to, quote, broaden my horizons is to play more of the the big stompy deck where there's nothing particularly clever going on. It's just play a lot of ramp, play a lot of giant beaters that have historically just punched my face in. I'm also going to be trying my best to play some more control decks, play some decks that go, okay, the real key to the game here is not to constantly make game actions, but to have patience and to get better at threat assessment. So those are going to be some goals I have going into Duskmourn. And I'm not really inclined to try and build the other decks. Like, if we take a look at the Mabel deck, I was originally very invested in trying to get the mouse deck going, up and running. But then having to put all the mice in what was otherwise a very solid, like, warrior deck, it has me kind of sussed out. Like, I'm sure it can be done. I fought against some Mabel decks, and it's been hit or miss. Sometimes they win, but they're winning off of the back of the strength of their equipment, which is not surprising. You know, you have some really good strong equipment, like the Shadow Spear. You get to play some swords, and they get that stuff out, and you know, it's red-white beatdown. But Mabel herself is not necessarily an optimal equipment commander. And that's kind of just like the issue I always have when I'm brewing new decks, is I want to find the niche that this deck specifically occupies, as opposed to just trying to retread completely common ground. Because if I just wanted to build Mabel as equipment, then I'd be better off just playing this as a Kiri. Or hell, even Nahiri. Nahiri's Aftermath version is really, really strong. So I did want to go ahead and give the mice the benefit of the doubt and try them out. Here's the downside. When you get into a hyper-specific card archetype, for example, mice, you do end up needing to spend all the extra wild cards on the extra stuff. I ended up getting the Recruit Instructor because this was a really good feather card I wanted to try out. I still haven't gotten the Whisker Veil Runner, which is also another good card. Like, this is a very good value engine in white. White kind of needs these type of effects. It's very easy to trigger. You managed to get most of them, but with a lack of wild cards, that really also stymies my ability to build a bunch of new decks. So, for example, if I wanted to build the Raccoon deck, I could absolutely play it as is with the Raccoons that I have. But then you look at the Raccoons that I'm missing, and you go, okay, well, I want to play the Raccoon deck, but the fact that I'm missing the one that, you know, draws me extra cards, a Raccoon that is just amazing, can't be countered, a 5/5 trample, and whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, creatures in your library perpetually get +1. This Raccoon is insane. I want this Raccoon. I want this Trash Panda. Resourceful Collector is also kind of neat, but it's one of those things that I'm always trying to fight against in terms of, like, brewing. I'm always trying to figure out exactly what the best iteration of a thing I can make using the cards I have is, and the temptation. But when you need the wild, when you want certain cards, when you go, this is the reason I am excited to play this archetype, but you can't make the card because you don't have the wild cards. It's just, it's the economy in a nutshell, right? It's the arena economy in a nutshell. And I'm going to continue doing my best to play the cards that I have rather than trying to constantly shut myself down because I don't have cards. But, and this is the extra caveat on top of that, if I had more time, I would be much more inclined to do that. If I had more time. But we are 2 weeks out from Duskmourn, and this is the part in the life cycle of Magic where, rather than trying to brew with new cards and new decks, I am much more invested in upgrading and tuning the decks that I have and play quite regularly. So, like, for example, Colossus is a very easy deck for me to upgrade and play because it's mono red. It plays literally nothing but burn. We're gonna get the oh god, we're actually gonna get the Whip Flare Not exactly Whip Flare, but the Whip Flare equivalent in Duskmourn. So I'm really excited to have that. And this is just a fair. It's a deck that I play incredibly regularly for dailies. Anytime I get my kill daily, anytime I get my play X red spells daily, I play Clothis. And this is a form of control that I really enjoy playing. So it's a deck I'm happy to upgrade. You all know that I'm really big up on playing with Kalia, playing with Feather. Feather got the aforementioned Valiant Instructor. I haven't seen that yet, but it's an addition that I'm really happy to try out. I've also been updating Rith, Sigarda, Darigas to varying degrees. Going back and revisiting things like the Brea deck that we made during Modern Horizons 3. Continuing to play Bear Force. Just decks that I have a lot of fun playing. And realizing that there's a bunch of decks down here that even though I had them favorited for color pair reasons, I just have not had any reason to want to come back to them. Like I'm not playing Tasha. I'm not playing Hilda. Hilda is still like it's one of those things where I need to learn to play control, so I'm going to come back to some of these decks. Like, I do frequently play the Kiora deck. The Kiora deck scratches a very good itch. I'm still... Yeah, no, the Shelob deck. The Shelob deck is also very nice. That's a deck I'm in the middle of updating, but I'm going to... There's a couple of cards I want to grab, like Fight Regain and a Rishkar's Expertise. A couple of cards that I saw in a Shelob deck that I fought against that I went, oh my god, that's so good. And I'm excited to grab those cards. And it's that sort of tune-up that I need to hold on to my wild cards for rather than putting them in enabling new decks. We have the Goblin deck that we have the combo deck that I haven't updated and the Satisfactory deck that I haven't updated. I still really like this Flage deck, but it really just kind of depends on how often I play it. I really don't play a lot of the red-white decks that I've been brewing up. At one point, what I wanted to do was I wanted to make every single red-white commander and find a way to make them work, and I still want to do that. But having a backlog to go through of older commanders that I either don't have or am slightly less enthusiastic to try out is a real cost to the time I put into streaming Magic. Like, I have this Audric deck that I built when the Case of Ixalan, when Caverns of Ixalan came out, and at first it was a cute deck. I still have it because I think it's a fun gimmick deck to have. It's not exactly it is absolutely a awful deck. Like, if you want to go vampires, you really need to go either red black or Mardu. Just play it as like a snap deck type deck. But it's nice to have it as a collection piece. This is also another reason why I try and put as many of my decks as possible on Moxfield. Because the reality is, with there only being so many decks on Arena, I've currently like 80 of 100, amazingly enough. Then a lot of these are just gonna fall by the wayside. Like the army Sauron deck was really cool, but I haven't played it. I haven't really grabbed onto Narset. This was my friend's Balmor deck. Aragorn humans. I like the Scry deck, but that's also more of a gimmick. Greasefane, Mono Black, Last Hope, Werewolves. Like, just decks that I don't really want to take apart, but are not in my active circulation. I want to try and find a deck in each color combination that can fit into the circulation. That is what I want to do. And so to that end, whenever we get to that point in a Magic set's life cycle, I'm going to say about 30 days out. So like when the Mastery Pass starts blinking, when it starts letting you know, hey, there's only so much time left in the in the season before we switch things over, that's very likely when you're going to see me start doing more of these just general tune-ups, general hanging out, and trying out my older decks against the new meta and updating them accordingly. At the very least, that's going to be after the alchemy set, because it's like the new set comes out, and then what is it? I want to say a few weeks after, maybe up to a month, the alchemy set drops. And at that point, that's everything that we're going to be getting from the set. So everything's out. If there are any new commanders, I want to have tried them out. I want to have done profiles on them, to do my take on them. And it's also just important to remember that I am not big on conveyor belt content. I absolutely despise doing things for the sake of just having a uniform product to put out. I like to keep things somewhat flexible. Hey, Ori! Got any giant robots? Yeah, we do. We're not playing them today, but, like, we have big blink bots. Like, we've got... Like, this was actually one of the decks that I was messing around with and playing for dailies just the other day. This is actually a really fun deck for me. Breya's a really good example of decks that I want to take with me throughout these sets and keep updating. But yeah, we get to play with, like, just a bunch of giant robots. Like, Karn himself is a robot. And then the Simulacrum Synthesizer just continues to be the single biggest house ever. Like, you get the synthesizer down and you start getting all your constructs going, and they get fucking huge, and you smash them. And on that note, I want to revisit some of the decks that I haven't played in a while. Like, I stopped playing Lagrella in part because crime was everywhere and control was so strong that it became hard to build this durably engine. But if you've seen my video about brewing and Brawl, I now have a much stronger understanding of what the format is like and what you can get away with in the format before you start dirtling too hard and people can take advantage of that. So I'm going to be looking to update this deck. I'm going to be looking to play this back so we can play more of our blink bots. I love playing all of these prototype cards and then blanking them out to get the big ones. Like, this was a comfort deck before Outlaws of Thunder Junction came out. So I'd really like to take this baby out for a spin again. And the same kind of goes for Game Breaker. I realize all of this could have been held for, like, the state of Brawl for the end of the end of the set. So yeah, in 2 weeks I'm definitely going to be treading some familiar ground. But I also would like to have these decks updated and tuned up a bit to help reflect the new meta. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing after today. So I've been going on for about, like, 20 minutes. Which means that it is time to actually go ahead and talk about today's deck. And I think... Well, let's see. Let me go ahead and just pop a new sleeve on here, because I'm not really feeling the sleeves. At least not the Lily Shadow sleeves. I think we have... Did we ever get the Lilies? Did we ever get the Lily Squirrel sleeves? We did. Alright. Alright. So what we're running today is Zoraline Cosmo Collar. This is one of the back clears from Bloomburrow, and this is going to be the last showcase deck for this that we do for the set, as I said before. And essentially what I did was I copied over the Ellis Cord Luris deck that I had from before to give this a try. Zoraline is great in that it does want you to go ahead and play all of the different bats. You get 1 life for each bat attacking, and those are going to be different life instances, which means that you get to play a lot of the Pridemate cards. You get to play the cards that get bigger every time that you gain life. It doesn't matter how much life. What matters is that you just gain an instance of life. So you get to play Pridemate, you get to play Priest, you also get to play Voice of the Blessed, and then there's a bat version here. Where did you go? Hallowed Priest? No. There was a bat here. Oh, right. Of course, the bat is going to be up top with the bat. And then the new one, Essence Chandler. Essence Chandler is really cool. It's a primate that gets flying to vigilance if you've lost life. So anytime you're playing your fetch lands, anytime you're using Phyrexian Arena, it gains evasion. And then whenever it dies, you get to move its counters over. A lot of the bats also have really good utility. There's a Soul Sister bat. You get to play some hand attack bat, some just generic but all right bats. Soothsayer is actually one of the alchemy bats, and one of the reasons why, one of the things I might want to do if I'm ever doing like a specific theme deck is hold off until the alchemy stuff. I really don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna to reconcile the fact that I want to brew and I want to have access to the alchemy cards too. But this one actually puts Sanguine Bond on top into your deck. And then you can pay 0 rather than pay the spell's mana cost when this permanent enters, draw a card. Like, that's... that's just really good. Kel in the box, hey, thank you so much for stopping by. And then, of course, the Darkstar Banisher also acts as a Skyclave Apparition. You can exile anything that's mana value 3 or less, and then they get to seek whatever card, something with the card type, rather than giving a token, so that's pretty cool. You've got the Bob. You've got Darkstar Augur, which is basically Bob. It draws extra cards. And I love that it uses the life resource. Now, if you looked at Amazonian's deck list for this, I think that's a very solid mid-range edition. I tried to go much more leaner and aggressive. And honestly, there's not a whole lot to say. Cleric class actually gets a lot more value in a deck like this than it does with Ellis Core, because Zoraline triggers on attack with all the different bats. You get to just pump up bats, and because they're all flying, they're all evasive. And there are some very prominent reach creatures, but we can very easily remove those with both the black and the white removals. So our Swords of Plowshares, our Path to Exile. Why is there no Path to... Oh, it's right there. It's okay. Zoraline also functions as a reanimator. So sometimes it's going to function as a 5 mana commander rather than a 3 mana commander. But the fact that it also triggers on attack is really good too. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're just going to go straight to playing with the deck. And we're going to hang out. Doing some big yaps. I don't think Zoraline replaces Ellis Core for me. Ellis Core, I just really love the deck building restriction that Ellis Core provides in terms of playing it as a Lurrus deck. But Zoraline gave me a chance to change it up and kind of take a look at what it's like to play a non-restricted version, I guess. Alright, so we got 2 lands, Cleric class, Channeler, Voice, Hat for Souls. So we have a bunch of 2-drops, and we have 2 lands to play it. Already the Beguiler. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to its mana value, gain control of that permanent as long as the aura is attached to it. I hate that. I hate that so much. This hand really needs... Oh, I fucked up. We're not going to be able to play our Voice of the Blessed. But getting Ripples of the Undeath off the top is great for us, because now we can just go ahead, start churning through our deck. We can pay the mana, pay the life to guarantee land drops, and still be able to play Deep Cavern Bat to scout out their hand. We can play Call of the Ring to start drawing more cards on top of that. Confounding Conundrum is still a very good card. I still think blue decks want to play this. We're going to take that Caves of Coilus. And yeah, let's go ahead and Deep Cavern Bat just to slow them down. Okay, so we've got Wash Away, Detention Sphere, Journey to Nowhere, and Sarah Paragon. Alright, I think I take the... Okay, they are literally playing Enchantment Control, and I'm not a huge fan of that. We'll take the Journey to Nowhere, so that way they at least have to spend all of their mana to get it back. This does mean that our enchantments are in danger from the detention. Actually, no. Because this only hits creatures. If they have to use their Journey... Okay. So I want to be able to play multiple white spells this turn, right? Right. Having Soothsayer is really great. Yep, see, even though we're paying like a premium on life, we're just doing really, really nicely. How do we want to do this? Because they have the Wash Away, they can counter pretty much anything that we have. We never play the Voice here. We never play the Soothsayer here. I would like to play Guide of Souls. That's a card they really can't ignore. But they will. And now at this point, they scoop because they realize that we are going to continuously slow roll them. We can gain life off of both the Guide and the Deep Cavern. They have all the lands they need. Next turn, they have the option of playing Detention Sphere on top of the Deep Cavern Bat, hold up Wash Away for Zoraline. But then we're good to go ahead and play Voice and Essence Channeler. I mean, assuming that we hit another white source. But no, hitting the Ripples of Undeath off the top was just amazing. I absolutely pay 3 life and a mana every time just to, like, guarantee land drops. It's also possible that they just did not appreciate how slow we were playing. And like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Sometimes you get into the tank, but that's also what the timer's for. Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Alright. Well, we get to lead off with a Dark Ritual to go straight into Darkstar Augur. The opponent does go first, so they lead off with lanes. And I don't want to tithe that. I'm going to hold on to this. Darkstar Augur and then Ritualing on the next turn is actually really cool. Case of the Uneaten Beast. Let's see. We could go ahead and Arid Mesa, but I don't think we really give up all that much if we just try and dig for an extra land drop. Especially if they're going to Blind Obedience on the next turn. Like, I am A-okay with that. The Arid Mesa... You're going to go ahead and grab a basic Plains because we are against a mono-colored deck. That means that they could very easily have... the Winter Moon. That's actually amazingly bad for us. But now we have 2 Bobs on the board. The Blind Obedience is going to be really rough. Alright, so we lose. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and start gaining that life back. We do have the Cavern of Souls, so that way we can play a Ram Mana Tithe if we need to. Case of the Uneaten Feast is really nice, so is Metal Mimic. I'm going to play the Selfless Spirit next turn, so that way they can't just Wrath of Goddess. Skycliffe Apparition to eat Zoraline, perhaps? Yeah, that's probably fair. Now we can go ahead and Metallic. Ooh, Blood Arts is get. So is a Johnny's Primate, actually. So then we always play Ardenvale. I have to play the Selfless Spirit. Because we need to have the resilience. We're just drawing so many cards, yo. Elish Norn! Well, now we're just gonna citywide bus here. Citywide bus is just like a fantastic card scenario. Alright, and we are... Ooh, ow. Ow. Oh, that is actually really, 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 really bad for us. So let's go ahead and grab... Swamp. And what I'm going to do... Let's see. Play the Blood Artist. Play the City Bus. So we get at least one life off that. Go to combat. Swing with these three. I will trade with the... I will use the primate to trade if I need to. And we need to get Zoraline down next turn and just pray that we don't die to both of our Bob triggers. As long as that happens, we're fine. Alright, yep, that's Elspeth. Elspeth comes down. Elspeth's gonna make a bunch of dorks. And now there's a bunch of tutus. I would, yeah, I was gonna say, I would heavily consider trading here. I can also, like, sacrifice the Selfless Spirit. That might be worth it. Elspeth does have a Wrath stapled onto her, but then she has to do that on my terms. And this actually helps me out. Like, I lose the creatures I gain 2 life regardless. This makes the primate just, like, bigger. Alright, that's free. That's 1. And we get a fracture too. Yeah, baby. Alright, so there's a bat. Okay. So... what? We defracture, get rid of Elspeth. I could also, like, meat hook here. Meat hook here. That'd be 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not quite good enough. I would love to get Alcaz down. Getting Alcaz down is actually really good if I can do with the Selfless Savior, I think. Fracturing the Elspeth champion also slows things down quite a bit. I think I just always get rid of Elspeth here. Remember that the Blind Obedience is going to make our creatures come into play tapped, which is not ideal. Alright, we're gonna go to combat. We're gonna swing with our 1 bit. Pass the turn. Like, we have gas for days. We can use the Selfless Savior, keep, like, Primate on board. They can swing in power 3 or greater. And they have to have, what, a second Wrath? Nope, it's just Lauren of the Third Path, which gets rid of Case of the Uneaten. That's fine. We have Bitter Blossom coming up next. And then they can attack, but then there's more Blood Artist triggers. Ooh, Authority is right here. And Starscape. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses a life. Well, damn. The Silent Clarity. It's a little hectic. Okay. Let's think about this. Let's think about this for a second. I have to activate this. So I can go ahead and grab Basic Swamp. I have to play Zoraline. I have to get back yet another Wrath. Kind of. If I actually hold on, can I just like 1, 2? I lose 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Oh wait, can I actually just like win here? I think I can actually. I think that's actually going to be like the biggest swing here. Yep. Okay, yeah, that's lethal. We thought about this way too hard. There we go. Okay. GG's, Elspeth. GG's. Yeah, the me. Okay. Yeah, there was just no reason to overthink that. Like, you can go ahead and play the Starscape. You can go ahead and get like Bitter Blossom and Alcatraz out. The Blind of Beans is actually a fantastic aggro tool. Yeah. Getting those early bobs down is so great. I won! I did! We did win! And like, I don't want to try and like overanalyze games that I win. Ugh. The Bob effect, where you reveal the card and then you lose life equal to its mana cost, that's another reason why I'm trying to keep the cost down really low. So that way we just don't lose all that much life. This is a Nethroi Apex of Death deck. This is a Reanimator value deck. That's going to be really hard for us to keep up. Darkstar Banisher kind of helps. So does Deep Seek. Let's see. Deep Cavern. You have an Edict with Malcure, Life Creed Duo. So, like, we have some interaction here. We have Fetch Land to try and dig for Surveil Land. So we'll lead off on Deep Cavern Bat into Darkstar Banisher is the play. And we're going to hope that's enough disruption to really get going. I would ideally love to see any of our Pridemate cards. So that way we can start beating down. The biggest issue is going to be that Nethroi by itself is a very strong stabilizer. They can just play for 5, but they usually want to get the full value, so they'll play for 7. Exile is going to be our best friend. We're going to have to save our exiling effects for just anything that gets too good for them to reanimate. A lot of the Nethroi decks also like to cheat around the power 10 or less. Sometimes they'll play cards with negative power. So that way, when everything gets totaled out, they just get to bring out even more creatures, which is incredibly cheeky. And it looks like the opponent has decided to hold on to lead off and pass. Not cracking the Verdant Catacombs in case they want to play a Pajuka Bog first. Oh my god. This is the... Are we playing against the Soul Sisters version again? In case you didn't see it last week when we played the Lizard deck, we played against someone who was playing Nethroi, and they played the Soul Sister deck. And I think this deck has a better matchup, but like, oh god. Oh, they are just playing Soul Sister combo. Not even like Soul Sister combo, though the combo is in this deck with Amalia and the Explorer Warden. But also, they have no removal. So that is astounding for us. It means that we don't have to play the Darkstar Banisher. We can go straight into playing Zoraline. We could also potentially play Familiar next turn. We don't want to double spell just yet. Ooh, they're gonna go for the 1-for-1. Moonstar Harbinger. Whenever you gain or lose life, bats you control, you get 1-0. As opposed to the Malakar Familiar, which gets +1/+1. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. Play the Harbinger, which blocks a lot better. And then next turn we can go ahead, play Zoraline. This will start antheming up all of our bats. Lotho is going to be a problem if they can start double spelling. This also means that the Edict is significantly worse. Sometimes they'll play... Case of the Uneaten Beast, okay. Dean is a card I don't want them having because that's an actual win condition. So now we are going to have to play the Banisher. Urza's Incubator would be an amazing tempo card. Like, I don't care about them having the Soul Warden. Soul Warden means that they do just gain 1,000,000 life, but the Steeper actively hurts us. Especially since it's a sack outlet and can get around a ton of this stuff. Now, if I can Incubator into a Life Creed Duo or a Zoraline, that's pretty great. Let's see. The ability only triggers once each turn. Oh, they want to get their Delny back. Yeah, we'll go ahead and grab. Wait, hold on. Is that just a search for a basic put in? Now we're in a position where we can go bat. Hold on. We could get back Deep Cavern Bat if we had. Oh man, I could have played Zoraline and then gotten the Deep Cavern back to get rid of the Delny. So that is actually my bad. All right, let's just go ahead and like double spell because at this point. We're just gonna have to be on the pain train, and I'm also gonna have to hope that. Oh, hey, it's the One Ring. Well, at least we can get Delny out of their hand. Getting rid of the Mana Tithe, okay. Ooh, and Patchwork Banner. Muy bien. So then I play the hold on. Let's do the math real quick. I play the Patchwork Banner. I still have 3 mana left over. I can Zoraline, but then I can't get back the Deep Cavern Bat. I think it's more important for me to go ahead and get back the Deep Cavern Bat. Because the Malakar Familiar is now going to do some amazing crunch work. Like, I'm attacking with 4 bats, and the Malakar Familiar is just going to keep getting exponentially larger. It doesn't even matter that we're not dealing damage. We just really want the life triggers. And then, yeah, next turn we can go ahead. We can play the Patchwork Banner. Wait, hold on. What? Enters look at target. Oh! I fucked up. The Deep Cavern Bat can't even get the Delny because I can't target the opponent. Okay. That would have been the correct... Okay, so then it was correct to play the banner first. Whoops, my bad. I mean, like, the upside is that, hey, we have a bunch of bats. So if we lucked into them not having any sort of, like, wrath effect, that were cool. Otherwise, we're gonna have to, like, Edict, Patchwork, and then into Edict. And if they want to kill Zoraline, okay, fine. They're probably gonna kill the Familiar. Do Do you go after Zoraline or Familiar? I think you go after the Familiar, because the Familiar is the ones that's going to get, like, crazy big. Everything else is going to get, like, decently sized, but they're just not going to get big enough. Zoraline gets back the Familiar, but then you buy yourself so much clock. So, yeah, my misplay is going to end up costing us just a little bit. We had no chance of getting the Delny, unless I played the Zoraline as opposed to the Incubator. So, both of those misplays could end up costing us. We had some really good top decks. We still have the Edict. So we can try getting rid of one of these. Okay, so they're going to go Abrupt Decay on the Zoraline. I am A-okay with that. Like, I will absolutely take that all day, every day. So either they have more removal or they don't. Upkeep? Why during my upkeep, though? Oh, because it's Orum's Chant. Let's see. Can't cast spells. Creatures can't attack. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to get rid of Lotho. Alright, so we go ahead. Cover Souls. Name Bat. We can't attack. We can't do anything. They bought themselves yet another turn. They could be turning the corner on this. Got the... See, 4 extra cards this turn. They still have Delny out, so they can play like a Chupacabra, wipe out 2 of our creatures. Soul Warden is getting them double life, so as soon as they play 3 creatures hit the board, this transforms. The case is solved. They can get back... They can sacrifice it to get Lotho back, but I don't think that's really worth it just for Lotho. Ranger Captain of Eos. They get to search for a 1-drop. What are they grabbing that's for 1? Maybe a Skrelv. I could potentially see a Selfless Savior. No, they're going to go for Gilded Goose. Gilded Goose! That is a flying blocker, so it can block the Familiar. The Ranger Captain can sacrifice itself. Yep, case is now solved. Oh, right, because Delny would trigger that, would double that trigger. Okay. And now they're back with the 25. So you don't have any creatures. Esper Sentinel. Okay. Alright, this is where we have to do... Honestly, I don't have any reason to go ahead and just hold on. Go ahead, we'll name Bat. We'll go ahead, we'll play Zoraline. And Coda, thank you so much for stopping by with the stream. You randomly got recommended my stream? You like how I explain my thought process and just enjoy and convey yourself through the game. Very informed. And super cute model, thank you so much! Magic is a very, very easy game for me to stream. Very specifically because it is literally just process of thought. I've always enjoyed streamers like Amy the Amazonian, like Thraben U, because they are very, very thorough with explaining their thought process. And yeah, right there's the Familiar blocking the goose. So like that's but now we're completely hellbent, which is not great. But I've always enjoyed watching Magic streamers who just explain the process. It helps me get a lot better, it helps me understand the format, and a lot of the... also helps me understand the misplays. It makes it so much easier to go, streamer. You forgot that Vexing Bob is going to counter your pitch spell. But if you like what we're doing here, please don't forget to go ahead and give us like the stream, give us a follow. We stream Magic every Monday, and that is very likely not going to stop. And oh dear, my chair is a little high. It's the chair. No, I don't want to get rid of my chair. I mean, like, I could definitely be doing a lot better than the chair. Belladros Witherbloom. Pay 10 life, untap all lands, activate only once each turn. That is... Oh. Oh, they're going to go for reanimation. Sacrifice the ranger so they can get another search off of it with either Case the Uneaten. Nope, they're just going to Nethroid. Like I said, this is a massive tempo swing for them because they have a 5/5 flying Death Touch lifelinker now. And then the fact that they're a 4 life doesn't matter. They're going to gain 8 of that back. And they can go ahead and search for a new 1-drop. Bird of Paradise, so they have another flying blocker. The hero that we deserve and the hero we need. I'm glad that you think so, Lucky. This is going to be a pain in the ass, because I don't think we win anymore unless we get a really great top deck. Like, they have just completely turned the corner here. And wait. Oh, right, because creature's power 2 or less can't be blocked by creature's power 3 or more. Invasion of Gobakon is a fantastic get for us. The question just becomes, what do we do about it now? Because the Nethroid does kill just whatever we put out there. We would have to commit 1, 2, and you know what? I'm never not casting Invasion. Like, do that now. Alright, so there's the Invasion. We can exile 1 card in our hand. Solitude. And Ripples of Undeath. Oh, God. I really don't think we're pulling ahead on this one, but you never know. So let's see. We have to commit to swinging at least 4 creatures at the Invasion. If we want to get through this. I don't want to play out the Deep Sea Cavern Bat. The Life Creed Duo Bat is also just going to hang out in back because now we actually have stuff going on. It does start getting bigger. Think. We lose the Deep Cavern Bat regardless, but at least the Life Creed Duo Bat can come back. Alright. So we have no creatures to get back. Or get bat, as I like to say. The Knockout Familiar is going to get huge. The Familiar is also going to trade with the Nethroid. Oh no, it's going to go for the Darkstar Banisher. Okay. Well, they can just get back the Belladros, which is amazing for them. And then, yeah, we have to pay both the Lotho tax and then also the Esper... No, we don't have to pay the Esper tax. What am I thinking? Like, on the plus side, they can't just, like, pitch the Solitude for free now. They could absolutely top deck into a Craterhoof and just win that way, though. Like, that's the very real out that we're playing to. Also, the opponent very correctly chose to just let all the damage go through rather than sacrificing their Goose and their Paradise Bird. Zoraline can bring back the Darkstar Banisher, which means exiling Delny and shutting off a lot of this madness, but they've already gotten so much value. We're running on empty here, folks. And unless we hit like a Darkstar to help us draw into extra cards, you're just watching the Soul Sisters matchup in general. If this is a Calcides of War, I'm just going to pick it up. Because with both the Rain constantly drawing them cards, with Ranger Captain potentially shutting out as drawing any sort of Wrath, with Soul Warden and Case of the Uneaten Feast, getting them back whatever life they lose off of the rain, off of Ripples of Undeath, they're gonna draw their whole deck before we have a chance to even, like, get them down. Notably, this is... Oh, Toxic Deluge for 5. That is ugly as sin. Zoraline does pull things back, but it's not pretty. If we go ahead... Oh, they're just going to play Amalia and start comboing us. Lunark Veteran, okay. Goes into the graveyard. Yep, there's Ripple of Undeath, so they can grab even more stuff. Fills up their graveyard, gives them more targets to reanimate with Nethroy. If we don't draw like a Bajuka Bog here, then yeah. Reanimate. Now that's an interesting card for us to grab. Let's see. We could grab Witherbloom. But what would that do for us? It gets us a token each turn. We can grab Delny, but Delny doesn't trigger for us. Ranger Captain of Eos. That would be an interesting one. We don't really worry about reanimating anything we have. I think what we do is we go... Here's Zoraline. Cavern of Souls is in play, so, like, you know, even if they didn't have the Mana Tithe in there, it'd be fine. Let's get back the Banisher, actually. Get back the Banisher. Get rid of Amalia. Because she is, like, the single biggest hurdle here. And then what? You can still animate Ranger Captain. Grab Delny. Grab the Beldros. Grabbing the Beldros does give me, like, additional tokens. It's also probably just, like, the strongest thing. The alternative is to grab Delny. I think I animate the Beldros just so they don't have it. Like, them having the Beldros is actually just the strongest thing that they can get off of the Nethroy. And it goes really nicely with the Light Shield Array. So we're not out of this yet, but the odds are still incredibly stacked against us. And if for whatever godly reason we draw into a... What's the black one? Season of Harvest? Oh, God. Bolas's Citadel. You would. Okay, well, they didn't get it back with Ripples of Undeath, so that's something. Remember that we can also sacrifice the Light Shield Array if they do attempt to try and wipe our board. Alright, that's Oscillate Pride. They do get a life, so they are going to get 2 cat tokens. Which means that it's no longer worth it to get this pest under control. And yeah, I have nothing I can do about that. Yep. Any number, power 10 or higher. I would have given almost anything to just be able to nuke the graveyard at that point, but it is what it is. At least they don't get to just play all their cards, which is why we grab the Beldros. I think we grab Harbinger potentially. Yep, and look, now they're gonna get all the triggers are gonna smack up to like 30 life. Let's just hit resolve all. Oh my god, it's... Yeah, 54 life. Aren't you glad we got back the Witherbloom now? That's not even going to be enough. Especially not with the Citadel in the graveyard. And now they get all that back. Yeah, I'm going to take a look to see what our draw is, but this game's over. Motherfucker. This is a cruel irony. This is an incredibly, incredibly cruel irony. We're gonna do it anyway. Actually, hold on. I've got a better idea. Let's go combat, swing with everything. And then we are gonna go ahead and pay the cost. Get back Harbinger. I once again, I don't think there's like anything we can do about this. Like if we draw into a Meat Hook Massacre, that's actually pretty great. Interesting that they didn't block the Pest. Alright. No creatures died, so Season of Loss is not drawing us, like, even close to enough. We can draw 2 cards off this, or we can sacrifice... You have everyone sack 2 creatures. All they do is grab... X's number of creature cards in your graveyard. You know what? I will pay for exactly... What is this? Adapt all lands? God damn, if I use the... You know what? No, fuck that. It doesn't matter. Card draw is not the bottleneck here. Like, they already have all the cards. Just having the extra card is not going to matter. I need to draw into exactly a Wrath. Exactly a Farewell here. Lunar Convocation does not get us there, so we're just going to go ahead and pick this up. Alright, GG, Nethroi. What are the odds? What are the odds that we would see 2 Nethroi Soul Sister decks in a row? Or just, not in a row, but like, you know what I mean. Back-to-back in consecutive weeks. Like, I was not aware that that was a popular Nethroi strategy. Although I guess if the Amalia combo got banned in Pioneer, then there are going to be some people who just want a way to keep playing it. Or maybe there were people that saw the ban and was like, oh, yo, if this shit is busted, I want to play it. Alright. This hand has gas. We're up against Bloomburrow, Belle of the Woods. I don't think I've seen this one as a commander yet. Belle of the Woods' power and toughness is equal to the number of lands you control. When Bloomburrow enters, mill 4 cards, then return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. This is another Pox-style ramp deck. Banisher, Skrelv is nice. Ripple of Undeath helps out, so does Soul Shatter. I'm willing to keep this, but we'll lead off on Sinkhole since that always comes into play tapped. And if we do draw into another land, Path to Exile is not what you want to kill your opponent's Landwar Elves with. I'm going to go ahead and crack this for a swap. Remember, grab your basics when playing against monocolored decks. Having the Soul Shatter also means that if they play like any big creature, we have a way to get around Hexproof, Ward. Landwar Shaman's Loam Speaker is not fantastic for us. We're going to go ahead and pay. We can grab Castle. I will do that all day, every day, forever. Alright, so we can Thoughtseize. Guardian Project is a problem. Invasion of Ikoria is really good top deck. We don't really have a solution for the project though. Comes to play with 6. They can swing currently 4. They're probably playing the Tortoise this turn. Yeah, let's just go ahead and take out the enchantment, and we'll play Skrell too. That way, in case they do draw into any sort of fight spell, We can protect Zoraline. We're probably not playing Zoraline until we hit 5 mana. Alright, so Tortoise is now officially going to be ramping them. That's probably a decent choice. Oh, hello. That's a reanimate. That's their first multicolor spell. Reanimate is a powerful card, but I think we just need more land drops. Yeah. Darkstar Banisher can't hit the Tortoise, unfortunately. Turn all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So, like, they just get to grab all their cards now. That's a problem. Power times a good number. So they just like get the big land, and this is their payoff. So we need to find a way to like deal with the payoff. None of this deals with the payoff. Let's see. I think we do go ahead, grab the land, pay that. Right down to 13 life. So like we are trying to dig hard as hell here. We can Soul Shatter. Probably the best we can do. Get rid of the Tortoise. The invasion is the biggest problem. Like, they have one land out, so the Lumra isn't going to be massive. Bristly Bill's a problem, but we can get rid of that with Darkstar Banisher. Ideally, we play the Roaming Throne first. Okay. Hold on, this is just a basic land card. Okay, which means we can go ahead and... have to exile the Bristly Bill. Did they draw into a Tamiyo's or a heroic intervention? Because if they did, then I am... Nope. It's just, Cosmic. Oh, wait. Well, we're doing alright so far. Alright, there's Polluted Delta. So now we're looking for... We will literally just die, but we also, like, really, really, really badly need more stuff. Oh, God. I can play the land and get back the Darkstar Augur, at least. Is it worth it to play the Unearth? Might be worth it to grab... You know what? I'm gonna decline here. We're gonna go ahead, grab Swamp. I can play the Roaming Throne now in order to actually like get double trigger off the Darkstar Banisher. I don't know if that's actually gonna work out the way I want it to now. So we're gonna go ahead and just get our life gain online. And that's gonna look like grabbing Augur, so that way we can try and dig deeper for an answer. We can't afford the life gain for Offspring just yet. Alright, so there's Druid class. There's Lumra. That is a lot of lands. That is a 9/9 reach creature. I didn't realize Lumra had reach. That makes it impossible for Zoraline to actually get through now. Star Charter. We did not mill any sort of answer. Vigilance and reach. Okay, so we were just never getting this off to begin with unless we held on to some sort of removal. I can play the Star Charter. And then Blood Arts might be the only way we pull into this. But they've got Hoof. So like, just Invasion of Ikoria, grab Hoof, put it onto the battlefield, swing. I'm at 6 life. That's enough to kill me. Like, just do that. Show me that you have hoof in your deck, and then we'll call it GG's. For 7? I mean, yeah, that works. Literally any number of creatures gets there. Anything that's big and tramply. For each non-human you control, you may have that creature assign damage as though it's blocked. Okay, so they're going to grab Tyrannus Rex. Okay, so they don't have hoof. This is still, what, 5 on its own? Yeah, so like it has to be block here. I guess sacrifice the charter. I don't know why you didn't just go for hoof. Why do you not have hoof? Why didn't you pay the extra mana to hoof? Meathook Massacre is not nearly big enough. We don't have any removal for the Rex, so that's game. I'm shocked that they didn't have hoof. Like, I guess you can say... I guess the logic is that if you grab the Rex rather than the hoof, you play around Flare, but the Flare I had was already in the graveyard. I don't know. Like, we lose either way, so it's not... So it's like, well, would you rather die by, like, 12? Would you rather be smacked for 1,000,000, or would you rather be smacked for 100? That's kind of what it... That's kind of what it feels like. But at the same time, it's like... You give me a chance to untap and play something like Farewell off the top, Wrath of God, and then I can actually start climbing back into this. Just doesn't feel optimal. Alright. We're playing against Yashar and Implacable Earth. This is going to be a damn near impossible deck for us to play against, because we can't pay life or sack non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. We can't... It completely shuts off this Silent Clearing that we drew into, which is astounding. We've also got a Dark Ritual. We have a couple of different lines of play here. So, for example, we could go ahead and Dark Ritual into Banner. And then that would give us 3 mana the next turn to play, like, say, Authority of the Councils and Flowering. That would be a very, very strong start. And... Let's see, but we're also, like, significantly lacking in white if we do that. So I think the play here is to go ahead, play the Bloodstained Mire, practice for a Surveil land, and then set up for Dark Ritual on the following turn. And we'll leave that land on top. We're going to need that land since Silent Clearing is not going to hang out. This also gives us the option of, like, going... Dark Ritual into Familiar. Familiar as a house can be really good, and it's a lot better if we use Zoraline after the fact. Go ahead. I didn't see a stop, so we're very likely able to get away with playing the Authority. No? Do they have the mana type for the Authority of the Councils? No, they don't. Okay. They could potentially Path to Exile or Swords to the Malakir Familiar. That's bad. Next turn we do have... either Flowering or Banner. Okay, no, they're just going to play the Apparition and eat the Familiar that way. Yeah, I kind of expected that. Well, doesn't change a whole lot. We can still go ahead and play Zoraline. Yeah, let's just go ahead and play Zoraline now. Zoraline can act as a blocker, act as an attacker. They might just have removal for Zoraline, but on 4 mana, they'd rather play Yasharn. Let's see. Yeah, we'll play the Tree of the City. We'll play Patchwork into Flowering and at least have like a big bat. Call the Rain, however. Flowering into Calvarine is actually really good right now. We play Flowering specifically for the protection. We play Calvarine so that way we can start drawing. Zoraline can't block Yasharn, but can now very comfortably block Skyclave Apparition. Next turn, we can go ahead, play the banner, play the clearing. Actually, we can just drop the silent clearing to the Calvarine, so I'm not even convinced that I'm supposed to play that out. But since we can just A and sack it, because remember, this is sack non-land permanents. Ripples of Undeath is also... Alright, so we have like some extra stuff. Alright, so we're always going to play the Patchwork Banner. We're going to name Bat. We're going to go combat. There's no reason for us to play the Ripple pre-combat. This also leads into a very cheeky play where we can potentially pay 2 to just tempo out any big stuff that we get. There's the Ripples of Undeath, playing around Mana Tithe again. And now even if they get rid of Zoraline, we do lose some tempo from the Call the Ring. But now Ripples of Undeath is going to fill our graveyard with creatures. Call the Ring is going to help us dig through and discard some more stuff. We can drop the silent clearing for whatever it is we draw. And just really hoping for some good gas here. The opponent has 3, 4, 5 unknown cards. A Farewell Here naming enchantments is absolutely devastating. We know that... Okay, so this is going to go ahead and get lost. Very reasonable play. Especially since Yasharn makes it so that way we can't sacrifice the tokens. Yep. So 5, 6, 7 mana potentially, but not actually. Because remember, Silent Clearing cannot actually make mana as long as Yasharn is out. Alright. So there's Heliod. I love to see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 mana. 6 mana, kind of no matter what. I could play the Heliod Sun Crown. I'm gonna go ahead and pay the life so that way we can get the Soul Warden, I think. Yeah, I like that. Wait, what? Ah, frick me. Ah, well. Well. I will go ahead and cash this in. Oh, hey, a bat. Heliod being a creature is pretty cool. As long as they don't have, like, another exile effect. They could have, let's see, did they burn Path to Exile already? They have not. They haven't burned Path or Swords. Elish Norn is problematic because she shuts down all of the TV effects that we have while doubling theirs. But we do have Indestructible Heliod, so that's pretty cool. We are going to play not Zoraline first. I'm trying to think. We can actually make it so that Soul Warden can attack. I think that's pretty pog. Alright. Here's hoping we hit removal at the top. Well, if we're just gonna be like grabbing stuff. So like here's the thing. The Soul Warden now gets to attack and loot. And it can trade with the Yasharn. And I am A-okay with that. So let's go ahead. Attack with both. Draw. Drop that sinkhole. 4, 5. We'll have 6 mana, so we can actually play Cat and Charter. Like, Soul Warden trades with Yasharn. I can also just, like, life gain with Heliod. That's pretty cool. They know I have an Ocelot Pride. I'm gonna make a bunch of cats. Alright, so they're gonna lose that thing no matter what. Wait, why am I giving lifelink to Soul Warden? I could have given it to Heliod for 3 extra life. I'm a derp. I guess I could have also played the Ocelot Pride. So, like, now... Yeah, okay, I derped up. I derped up. Yeah, I am not a smart kitty. Hey, now we can correct these maps. And that's something. Warhound. Darkstar Augur. We can just, like, throw the creatures away, because we're really trying to grab something else. They're at 8 life. They just threw Guardian Project, and they have Cradle Hoof on the next turn. If they have a way to draw into the hoof, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh god, that's... Yeah, that's... almost lethal, right? Because the hoof comes into play tap. No, they're going to go with Guardian Project and try and hoof me next turn. Alright then. Yep, they get to draw 2 extra cards. Oh, this is going to be rough. It's going to be so freaking rough. I think... So, I feel like if they go for hoof, because they get double Elesh Norn trigger, they might have actually had it, unless I'm getting their mana count wrong. Because again, I'm getting an extra turn to dig for a Wrath effect. Alright. We're gonna go ahead and make one of these cats legendary, I think. Unless they just, like, have a fog out. Flare of Malice, you say? Alright, let's take a look at what we hit. We hit Unearth. I think that's worth a mana. I'm gonna grab Unearth. Alright, so let's go ahead. We'll play that. First things first. Flare of Malice. Make you sacrifice Elesh Norn. And then... let's go ahead and grab out... We have to attack with... we are definitely attacking with everything. This is only bats you control. I guess Soul Warden gives us the best buffer, right? And then we... let's see, this Ocelot Pride already has life. So we'll Phantom. Make the cats bigger. Yeah, make the cat bigger. And then, like, just swing and hope. And then they have to block with everything. Yeah, the Ocelot Pride is actually going to get, like, lifelink before, so this is not going to be an actual trade. Oh, wait, hold on. Did, this thing is unblocked, right? Did you just forget to do math? Or did you forget about the first strike? Either way, we got there. Okay. Yeah. So, thinking about the opponent's turn, right? What they did was they played Aladdin Marie and Guardian Project. That is at least 7 lands. The Evolving Wilds... let's see. I think that was probably off the top. 6, 7, 8... Okay, let's just count their mana real quick. Because they played the Uprising to get to the Hoof, right? Right. And they played 2 lands. So the Uprising got them to at least 1 draw, I think. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, they had double Crater Hoof. So if I'm going to have to like check the tape later if I really care. The question I actually don't. But I really feel like if they had actually just played Hoof and then swung, I would have been dead. Because even though I did have the Ocelot Pride, I would have been forced to like block and try and soak up as much of it as possible. You still have a bunch of other dorks to go ahead and swing with, creatures that you ended up having to block with anyway. Plus the Yellow Norn. Like, yeah, I think they punted that game. Just do a quick check on... Okay, so I've got some stuff I need to check on during break. Actually, now is actually... Yeah, let's go ahead and take just a quick break now, so that way we can go ahead and use the washroom, refill your water, grab some snacks, and then we'll be back with some more bat action. Until... don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. And chat, if you're just hanging around, don't let this man terrorize you. Don't let this man terrorize you. Stand up. Wait, no, Okay, so I was kind of right. It's like right there. Now, notably, there are no hooks for me to actually grab, but... Terrorize? Hey, yo, Jess, you've been on the Transformers kick. I would have thought that you would actually be all about terrorizing, what with, you know, Megatron having dinosaur dragon parts. Puns are a gift? Then where's the receipt? Yeah, Beast Wars really is the best show. Let's see. The blue version has flying. The red version has first strike. I think I actually might be fine trading my Dracus for that. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh my god. That's game. That's game. Holy crap. Oh my god, I forgot he actually just had a skill before specialized. Whenever he attacks, another attacking creature gets XO to end a turn where X is Scanos' power. Thrakus doubles. Oh my god, Stain. Oh my god. Spam Zero, you have my condolences. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. There. I think what we do is we go ahead, we play that out. And we continue just building our board. And... yeah, we're going to go ahead, play this out too. X creatures and... oh my god! Oh dear mother of pearl! What the hell? Seek X creatures, enchantments were X... oh my... oh! What the... I don't have an emote appropriate for this moment. What the actual googly moogly? Holy... You know what? You know what? I don't have a way to come back from that. GG's. Wow. Wow. I'm not even mad. Just like... What the hell?
Extending that lead. Olsen makes the tackle.
This is pain.
13-yard gain, and it'll be a first and goal. It's first and goal at the 7-yard line.
Couldn't be me, Brony. Couldn't be me.
The home team come out in
God,
the 4-3.
I was right there. I was right there. And he just spun around me. Fuck, how did I fucking... Oh god, this game's over. Yeah. All right, we're back. All right, so just as a quick reminder, we are not going to be streaming this Friday because I will be escorting my wife to the dentist for her cleaning. It was just kind of the first day that we had available. Oh, Bolas God Pharaoh, this is not going to be pleasant. But we will be back to do our Elite Four next week, and oof. Alright, how sad am I if this gets hit by a Thoughtseize? If this gets hit by a Thoughtseize, they probably take the evasion. I still have a Fracture to disrupt ramp. I still have Amalia to be a big creature. I don't really have anything if I keep Selfless Savior, but I think we can do this. Okay, so far so good. Go ahead, we play the Amalia. We no longer play the Amalia. We just go ahead, we attack in. We're not going to be playing Amalia into just, like, very obvious and open counter magic. I'd much rather leave the Fledged Strains back to grab a Godless Shrine. They're very likely to play any sort of, and they're playing Crime. They're very likely to play a 3-cost rock next turn. Ugh. Like, I'm already on record of saying that I am just not a fan of Prime decks. I don't like people getting to play with my cards. Like, I play Magic to play with my cards. I don't want you to play with my cards. Alright, so we can go ahead and Fracture the Relic in order to play Zoraline. That's pretty great. Yeah, we want to play Zoraline. The Zoraline goes into Invasion a lot better. You could make an argument for playing the Invasion here. Zoraline is just a more efficient use of my mana. Let's see. We don't have anything to play at instant speed. We're gonna go ahead and play around casualties, I think. Let's play Amalia first. Amalia is the one that most likely to be countered. If she isn't, this is the worst part about trying to play against a control deck, is trying to just dance around doing literally anything. Ooh, Amalia hitting the Restless Fortress is pretty... Ideally, I get this up ASAP. When Triumphant Getaway enters, heist target opponent's library twice. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, each opponent loses 2, you gain 2. Which means that they could end up hitting, say, Meat Hook Massacre, play it for 3, wipe our entire board. And they're like all in on the crime. The good news is our rafts are asymmetrical in our favor. Alright, so that's a Dark Banisher. Yep. Dark Banisher comes down. Exiles Amalia. No, exiles Zoraline. Alright. Not how I thought that would be going, but sure. Bitter Blossom. Okay. So let's go ahead and play the invasion. They countered this absolutely. Yep, that's bind to secrecy. Now we can go ahead, play Bitter Blossom, go combat, swing with Amalia. And I'm going to make them spend removal to get rid of her. Notably, the Banisher does not give me a thing because Zoraline is not still exiled underneath. It's the Skyclave apparition. Yep, we have to sacrifice Amalia now. But because we have the Bitter Blossom, we are in a very, very good spot. Let's see. 3, 4, 5 to play Zoraline. Once again, just not in a good position when they have open mana like that. But the Bitter Blossom can get there. We have to worry about the fact that Bolas will just exile 2 cards out of our hand. The Citywide Bus is probably not getting us there. Probably don't need the throne either. Tosh is obnoxious. This Tosh literally says that our creatures just never touch her.
Which spell impressed you the most?
Yeah.
Keep your distance, mortals.
Call the Ring helps. I don't know how much it helps though. Yeah, I'm throwing it in the towel. Like, I have the single worst record against Bolas. Like, the deck is just full of everything that my decks are very poorly tuned against. And the Bitter Blossom helps stabilize that a lot. But as soon as the Tasha comes down, if we don't have any removal for the Tasha whatsoever, she completely takes over the game. She can start taking more of our creatures. A lot of our bats gain life. They start walling the Bitter Blossom tokens. And it's just a bad time all around. Sidisi is a little easier to deal with. Sidisi mills zombies and they get them off the ground, but we're going to be flying, so that's not really an issue. Creature can't block. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses a life. The offspring cost is free. Case of the Uneaten Feast. Yeah, having the Bujukabog is great early on against Sidisi, but we need something a little stronger. Skrelv isn't awful. I like having Aklas Zots as a top end, potentially. Normally I would try and play around Bajukabog, but for just a Fable Passage, it's not a massive deal. I'm not even sure, like, if I have anything that eats lands out of our graveyard. We go ahead, we play the Shadowy Backstreets. We can go ahead, play Giver. Then it has to be exactly creature removal, not artifact removal. With the Bloodstein Mire, that does make me want to go ahead and play God the Shrine. Now we can play Giver into Skrelv. They might have removal for one, probably not both. And if they have to use removal on both, then at that point, we have a very high chance of getting Zoraline to resolve. Nope, they're going to go into 6, which is a very strong card for them. Partly because it has reach. Let's see. Skrelv. Getting Skrelv's Hive online would be pretty great, I'm not going to lie. But I think I just set myself up better for Devil Spelling. If I play Zoraline first, pass the turn. I could, let's see, Skrelv can't block. I would have to use Zoraline and Giver to block 6. Giver and Skrelv both being online is pretty great. 6 attacks. They don't have a reach creature to block Zoraline, which is also great. If we don't draw into a 3 or 4 drop, we'll just drop the Skrill, get that going. Starseer Mentor and Alcaz the lots. Trying to figure out which one we would want to drop first. Gain your life. Target opponent loses 3 life unless they sack a non-life permanent or discard a card. That can start chewing through some stuff. But Axolotls turns into a land. Ooh, Gossip Talent. If that levels up, number 6 can attack through no problem. Okay, they're not going to risk the double block. Respectable. Season of Loss. Alright, let's dig for a land that comes into play untapped. Deep Cavern Bad is not what I want to see, or is it? Because now we can go ahead, attack with Zoraline, pay the 2, and we're just going to get a free bat. Which means we get a free peek. And, oh, you naughty, naughty thing. You were about to try and get the Gitrog monster down, weren't you? Well, 6 gets a free block now. And that's fine. If we get to untap with Season of Loss... I'm trying to think if we would actually, like... We don't have... We need to get the Skrill's Hive down if we want to get full value on Seasonal Loss. So now we're actually gonna start seeing some scathing commentary on our play sequencing. The Conduit is a really good card for just being able to cast stuff. It lets him cast permanents, right? Choose an online permanent. Yep. So Sidisi comes down. Sidisi pretty much says that season never again actually gets us going. Sir Conrad is actually really disgusting with this deck. Gossip's Talent triggering with each new zombie to try and put more creatures to get more zombies, to get more creatures to get more zombies is also really good. And this is why we didn't want them having the Gitrog monster, because then they would just be filling up. Oh my god. The Jugabog off the top, please, one time. Oh my god, that's 5 creatures in a row now? Oh my god, did they build their deck as mono creature just for this? It certainly looks like it. I'm just gonna hit Resolve All. Oh my god. At some point they have to hit a land, right? Okay. Ymurzgar. What a mad lad. Okay, Spider Spawny is not a creature. Okay. And they don't have anything else either. Okay. So we get exactly, what, 1 turn before they just fucking murder us? Because then Sir Conrad comes in, Sidisi triggers, that triggers Gossip's Talent even more. Cleric class is not what I wanted to see. You know what? I'll just call it there. Yeah. Cool deck, bro. Surveil triggering off of all CDs. Like, no, I'm actually... Okay, so I said that Okay, let's pull the salt back on that. No, that's actually a really good interaction. I like that a lot. Like 9 zombies and all we have are a bunch of little guys? It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Okay, Cruel Claw. The infamous Cruel Claw. This deck is going to force us to mulligan a very specific way, and that's going to be to dig for just really fast interaction. Dark Ritual into Call the Ring isn't the worst. But, like, this is really, really bad for us. Yeah, I'm going to mulligan a little harder, see if we can try and find literally any sort of removal. The citywide plus. I guess the cavern bat helps. I'll keep 5, I guess. Drop the alkalas. We need Wrath and Bat. So get rid of the incubator. This is a really, really bad start. And they very likely have some sort of removal. Season of Loss, Trumpeting Connoisseur, and Grizzlebrand. Wow, would you look at that? Alright, we'll take the Connoisseur since they can actually play that. But I am heartened by the fact that they don't have any like hard removal off the top. Bajuka Bog is not what I want to see. I can drop the Augur next turn. There's Cruel Claw. This sucks. I can play Zoraline. We can double block. I need the Darkstar Augur out specifically. Let's see. I'll play the Zoraline. And then we don't attack. We hope that they haven't drawn removal within the 3 turns we looked at their hand last. Yep, they're gonna go ahead. They trade with the let's see, they kill the Deep Cavern because no, they're willing to let the Trumpeteer just stay. Next turn they can play Season of Loss. Oh, and they just have Crucius. They're gonna go ahead, drop it, Grizzlebrand. Expedient. Expedient is something with lower. Yeah. This is just a really, really bad time for us, bro. Season of Loss coming up makes this incredibly painful because even if we Darkstar Augur, they can single paw 3 times and then draw 1 card, completely shut us out. I guess we'll play the banner. I guess I should have attacked there. There's no reason for me not to. We're getting along. But it's like the second that they go ahead and play like a Grizzlebrand or a Liliana. Alright, so Lily comes up, she makes a zombie. The Crucius can now swing in for free because they know that we don't want to give him back the trumpet. No, never mind. This is where it's difficult. We never not swing at Lily.
Do not ruin my dress.
They have a stranglehold. I do not appreciate. And now the Season of Loss just gets better. Yeah, I'm gonna tap it. They're way too far ahead. Having Liliana Dreadhorde General and Season of Loss is brutal in part because now they're in a position where even if I try and like go wider than the season, well, first of all, we just never go wider than season. Season is bare minimum a sacrifice 5. We would have to have literally more than that in order to have anything out. Liliana can go ahead and sacrifice 2 as well, but instead what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead plus another zombie. Now they have 3 creatures out. They can go ahead, play season, make a sacrifice, say 1, 2, 3, 3, but then they're drawing 1, 2, 3, and then draw a card for each creature. 4, 5, 6, they're refilling their entire hand. And they still have their Planeswalker on board. Just, it's not happening. Alright, I'm going to take a quick look at the deck. Let's go ahead and take a quick pit stop. Which, if you're new to the channel, means that I'm going to give myself like 5 minutes to try and see exactly what is working, what is not working, and figure out if there's anything that we can reasonably try and do to modify the deck. Honestly, I don't think there really is. We've had some really rough matchups. We could probably have mulliganed a little bit better. The Adaptive Automaton is probably not the card that we're looking for here. I like Metallic Mimic. It's a 2-drop, so that's kind of fine. It does get a little awkward occasionally, but the +1/+1 counters are decent. I don't know. I've never really liked it seeing into the hand. What we're looking for is either just going to be more gas. I think we have plenty of that. We probably want, say, Helping Hand. They're going to be... I like Helping Hand as a way to just get back Zoraline. Very specifically as a way to... Zoraline will die, and then we can Helping Hand get Zoraline back. Zoraline will trigger again as soon as it comes back into the field, so we can just like kind of chain that together. Kind of the same reason we have Unearth. I do want to do a quick stock of our removal because I don't know if this is just me. I always feel like I'm not playing enough removal, but the issue typically isn't that I'm not playing enough removal. The issue is that we don't have the card flow. Which, hey, every time we've seen one of our draw enchantments, we have been perfectly fine. So it might be I just need to put in like a Phyrexian Arena. A lot of the cheaper anthems are what I've been sticking to mostly. And yeah, let's go ahead and get like a Phyrexian Arena here. Like we have the Dark Star. Hold on. I legitimately like light on mana? Oh no, I am light on removal actually. I'm looking at everything right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like that's not a bad amount of removal. Like usually that's okay. I do think we have in the Phyrexian Arena regardless. Okay, there's a citywide buzz. That evens it out just a little bit. Yeah, maybe this is just an issue of get just one arena in here. There are a bunch of other cards that you can add in here. There's a lot of white cards that do draw additional. Thank you, Arena. Thank you, Arena Sorter. There are a ton of might be actually this might be a deck where I want. We want to be careful because we were playing with all these bobs. I don't know. Probably Throne is like a card that you want to play after playing Zoraline, so that's fine. Incubator actually does help out a lot with a lot of the double spelling. Currently have 32 creatures. The creature count is fine.
You just went boom.
Legless, thank you so much for following the channel. Is this a bat-themed deck? It is. It is absolutely a bat-themed deck. And right now we're just making a quick pit stop. I think I've got like 2 minutes to try and find exactly one cut. Let's see. I want to leave the creatures alone. The reanimator is still fine for like taking out the opponents. There's actually a lot of reanimator decks going around. A lot of troll cycling. Patient is still good. This might be a deck where I kind of want to take out the Skrell's Hive, because even though we want to be losing life, we have actually given up a lot of our token synergy, very specifically to focus on the flyers. So I'm going to make that the cut. You're trying to make a spider brawl deck, but it isn't very good. No, spiders are not good on Arena. If you want to build a spider deck, you've got Shelob as your commander, and what you're actually doing is playing a control Voltron style deck, where all you do is you ramp out the Shelob, you protect Shelob, and then Shelob stomps all over the whatever the opponent puts in front of her. Okay, this is going to be another rough matchup for us because Eluge is the new iteration of unranked blue deck. This happens every set. Every time that a decently strong blue commander comes out, people are going to go ahead and play this because the previous really good one, like Tamio or Malcolm or whoever, gets gets properly weighted into the stratosphere. Hallowed Priest, Swift Fiend, Augur. If we can get the Augur down, that's great for us. Incubate is also a problem. Because we're on the draw, I don't like this hand. Like, by the time we get to turn 3, they have cancel mana up. Grand Abolisher. If we can get Grand Abolisher to stick, we're grand. Let's see. Let's lead off on Speed. And then we'll crack that as soon as we get a chance to. What tier level's the bat? All of the cards in Bloomburrow are untiered until the next set. The arena dev team waits until after the set before they officially put any sort of official weights on them. Let's see. 2 mana that's still within stifling range. God, I hate this. I hate being a creature dependent deck that just can't do anything on the opponent's turn. And then can't do anything on my turn. Alright, let's go ahead and crack this for planes. Don't forget to crack for a basic when you're up against a monocolor deck. Oh, God. Okay, so we'll go ahead. We'll play the Guide of Souls. We'll see if they want to bite on this. If they don't, we'll pass turn. And then next turn, we'll try and double spell with the Cavern. Now, here's the thing to remember. We don't really care too much about what tiers decks are. Very specifically because so many of these are gonna see play regardless. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll play the Deep Cavern Bat to scout. They're gonna want to counter this because then we're gonna know like how naked they are, and then we're gonna pray that they don't have anything else. All right, we got Grand Abolisher out. This is a giant leap for bat kind. All right, there's a luge. Now we have a. Now we have something special going on. All right, so how do we want to do this? We can get Zoraline online. I think we're always double spelling here if we can. I want to go ahead, play the Deep Sea Cavern first. Alright, so what do we have? Counterspell, phase, counterspell, counterspell, counterspell. Return an instant sorcery from your graveyard to your hand, exile. Okay. Okay. Gain control target non-land permanent mana value 1 or less. That one refills their hand. And that's one that they can actually play on their turn. Take the Archmage's Charm, because everything else loses all of its value. Now we have a Death Toucher, so they don't want to attack. Let's see. They only have Memory Lapse, so Flood of Recollections doesn't do anything. Tails doesn't... They had Tails end, but they chose not to counter my fetch land. They have Slip Out the Back, which doesn't do anything on their turn. Brazen Power to bounce the Familiar. Okay. Well, now they have a Brazen Borrower, so they just always have that as a blocker. Yeah, we don't care about our life total. But they also have to cast the Brazen Borrower on their turn. We have to, like, crunch them out. If they play the Brazen Borrower, which they have to in order to keep us from, like, swinging in with our bats. But the Guide of Souls and the Grand Abolisher get in forever now. You enjoy tier 1, but you hate the meta with them. Always the same decks. Try to at least make yours a little bit different. Your prismatic bridge deck, for instance, only has ETB effect creatures. I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but that's not exactly, standing out from the crowd. That's not exactly putting on your anime protagonist wig. Like, you're playing Prismatic Bridge, and if you're playing Prismatic Bridge, then you are literally the same as every other Prismatic Bridge deck, in that the opponent is going to see Prismatic Bridge, they're going to try and answer for like 1 or 2 turns, and then you're just going to snowball in value and pull your head in and they're going to scoop. Brawl is not the format for self-expression, I am sorry to say, to all the Johnnies and Jennies out there, and I say that as a Jenny herself. It's actually one of the bigger frustrations I've had with the video, and if you look at my YouTube channel, I actually did a short video talking about, like, brewing. But the fact of the matter is, you're playing a one-on-one format, so everyone is going to be playing the deck that they want to play, and for a lot of people, that's going to be the deck that wins, which again is why you're seeing a lot of the Eluge decks, and why a lot of the Tommy and Malcolm players have switched over to Eluge. And that's the other thing too, they're always going to try and game the system. They're always going to try to game the system. So the mono blue player that just enjoys bullying other weaker or unranked decks is always just going to switch over to whatever the new blue commander is, or at least give them a try. Now that being said, I think we're officially getting the GG Ropas right now. Which, hey, I didn't think that we would actually like get there against a mono blue deck. But I am very, very happy about that. Okay. We don't have any like creatures in here, no. Alright, we want to start like gaining life. We gained or lost life this turn. I think I like playing the Star Charter here. And then we can actually go ahead, attack in. You know what? I will pay the 4, turn the guide in, play the Paducah Bog. Now the Charter triggers because we gain life. We have a 3-1. As long as the Grand Abolisher doesn't have flying, then the Brazen Bar can't really do anything to it. But I also forgot that the Guide of Souls gives 2 +1/+1 counters. Oh my god, that card is insane. No wonder they had to nerf it for Historic. Now, the opponent still has an out here. If they drew into potentially like a Psych Rift, no, they would need another land in order to make that work. Brazen Bulwark, bounce the Familiar. I feel like they... That's really their only out if they want to like dig more. But Eluge is also like reducing the cost for the first instant sorcery they cast. That's a hard position to be in. Alright. We got the rope, GG. Now, as you've seen with some of the earlier games, it doesn't always work out like that. For every one of those games, we get plenty more where the control deck gets to firmly establish itself. And we just kind of have to, like, accept that we couldn't get there. Maybe some more hand attack cards, maybe focusing a little more on like duress effects would help out a lot. This is gonna be rough. I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to this because the Ripples of Undeath can help us dig for answers. We're up against Esirak the Archlich, and this is a mono black storm deck, essentially. I'm gonna go ahead and play out the sword first. And what that basically means is that all they're gonna do is... Oh, there goes our Ripple. Alright. Let's see, this is Offspring. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses a life. Yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll play out Starscape. See if we can, like, speed up that clock a bit. They like to get out any sort of cost reduction, like a Jet Medallion. They can use that to reduce the cost on Asterek, and they'll just bounce them over and over and over again to complete the maze of the Mad Mage. Let's see. They're tapped out. They're playing black, so it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, let's go ahead. Here's Zoraline. Prismatic Bridge is usually Planeswalkers, though, and winning through alts. I mean, like, you're still getting value, and you're still using Prismatic Bridge to do it. So, like, it's kind, you know, tomato. Cost reduction or Paradox Engine? Yeah, exactly. Paradox Engine is also the big one for Asterek. Alright, so they're going to go ahead. Exile Zoraline. I'm fine with that. And let's see. Grab another basic because Winter Moon is still a thing. Here's our Lunarch veteran. Here's our Soothsayer. I am just expecting for them to hit either a Languish or a Mihawk Massacre and absolutely reset the board here. Extinction Event also works. Get rid of the even cost cards, gets rid of the bats. Unfortunate. Yep, and there's Asterek. So, like, we do get the life now, but we no longer have a way to punish him for it. There's Godless Shrine. Crying shame. Alright, and next turn, we're gonna see a little classic, picking it up, and then I put it back down. Picking him up, and then I put him back down. Picking him up, and then I put him back down. I'm going through the maze. I'm running through the dungeon. I really want to see Bontu's models live. Okay. We don't have any creatures in here, right? No. I guess I could have Windswept Teeth beforehand to try and, like, spike a creature into the graveyard. That would have been really cool. Alright. There's Asterek again. And I'm just going to go ahead and correct this now so I can F6. Back streets, back. Alright. Amalia. How does Amalia help us? Gets big. You know. I'll just get her back with Zoraline. Alright. So. Yep. Scry 1. 1, 2. Draw a card. They like what they have. It's another Wrath. I cry. But at least this time, go for the throat. You know what? I'm going to just leave Zoraline there. I had the mana to, like, replay Zoraline. There goes Soul Warden. I'm going to lose my graveyard. So this is not, like, the greatest. I definitely want to drop everything, so that helps at least. Ooh, hey, reanimate! You don't have anything cool. I don't have anything cool. So, like, what if I just, like, Helping Hand, got Zoraline back, paid 2 to get the Soul Warden back. Wait, hold on, non-land permanent? Wait. Okay, so I need to learn how to read cards, because I didn't realize that Zoraline could get back Ripples. That is astonishing. I must be the biggest shrimp ever. Because I did not realize that Zoraline could get back enchantments. That is a game changer. Holy shit. I mean, I don't know how much it changes this game because I'm pretty sure We're gonna see Mad Wizard Lair this turn. Ball Stronghold makes 5 mana, yeah. Let's see. They can make Skelly Bros to block. He hasn't gotten any of the main win cons yet. Nope, he hasn't, but they're digging. They're digging. And God help me. Alright, so yeah, they have a couple of land blockers. I am gonna keep this in mind. That might have actually helped a lot of our earlier struggles, damn. 1 on top, 2 on the bottom? That's not good. Oh, never mind. There's the 1 ring. Alright, so... Well... Flying First Strike Haste doesn't do anything. If they want to use the ring, they have to use it now. This is what? Activate abilities? Life Crew Duo. Yeah, this doesn't do anything, but like we already know what their win condition is. Honestly, it's just unfortunate that everything literally got exiled. Forehand, cool. Yeah, I'm aware. Alright, let's see if they got it. If they got it, they got it, and like... not a whole lot you can do about that. Like, they're gonna get to Mad Maze today. Yep. Oh, they're digging. They're digging. Alright. Good news is, like, it's gonna be really hard to actually, tendrils. Put the Augur in the graveyard. Star Charter, also graveyard. You're trying to find, like, something that does better. Draw 3. Murderous Rider, Sign in Blood. Yep, there it is. There's the Paradox Engine. Now, if I had some way to, like, draw the card off the top of my deck, then it's fine. But they have all the floating mana. That's exactly what they need. Just... That's combo life for you. We couldn't get there. Ugh. Honestly, the deck is still fun. I think it needs some help in terms of like maybe some acceleration. I could see trying to put in like a I should already have Arcane Signet. Alright. This is Nashi Illusion Gadgeteer. This deck does one thing and one thing only. Play Brilliant Ultimatum and then loop Time Warp over and over again with like Thassa to blink it out. We have interaction. We don't have the color to play the interaction. Not fantastic. Hollow Priest plus Voice of Bless means that we do have some early aggro. Unfortunately, we just don't have like the luxury of going really, really slow. I'm gonna go ahead and crack this Blood Samurai before they can hold up a Tail's End. Needs more passive draw. Maybe something like an Anguished Unmaking. You're not wrong, but that's already in the deck. We just didn't see it. You know what? I'll put Authority of the Councils away. Bird of Paradise plus tap land. Okay. This is good for us. Let's see. Have voice. Want to do? I think we want more acceleration. Like, the deck has plenty of passive draw. You are predicated on actually needing to see it. Maybe something like a Sign in Blood would actually help out a lot. Phyrexian Tower plus Treasure means that there is counter magic here. We definitely don't have anything that gets us there right this second, but let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's play Voice of the Blessed first. Into Swiftblade. I'll put the Star Charter guard. This Swiftwing. Swiftwing having haste is pretty great. Moonrise Cleric, we can also throw that away. And then, yeah. Next turn, we can go ahead, play Zoraline, get back, say, Cleric, or even the Authority of the Councils itself. Then the Swiftwing attacks, gains a life, makes the Voice of the Blessed bigger. We have Helping Hand and Unearth to get the Voice of the Blessed back there too. We managed to get a good board state. The problem is that Sultai has some very strong control elements. Neoform. Search your library for a creature with mana value 1 plus the sacrifice total. So Aftermath Analyst. Pay for, return all the lands. That's only 1. But that helps. Gorhan's definitely not going to get in there. Okay, so they're going to get Nashi. What are they Nashing for? Neoform? Or just an island? I think it must have been just the island. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's see. Moonrise Cleric can help. I feel like I want to get... Oh, God. They're just waiting to grab Zoraline, isn't it? Alright, well, we'll go ahead. We're going to play Zoraline. Not. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, but the Voice of Blessed can't attack yet. Yet being the operative word. We could grab the Moonrise Cleric, just to get like more creatures out. I think in terms of like trying to get even more stuff out, that's what we're gonna do. Citadel, I want that. I don't need lands. Back there. And pray to God that this gets there. If they played Nashi to just get an extra island, that's pretty great for us. The Moonrise Cleric also means that we have another card that will gain us life and make the Voice of the Blessed passively bigger. Oh, nope. They're trying to ramp really hard, so they're almost definitely going for Brilliant Ultimatum right now. 1, 2... Lucky for us, they're not really hitting it. Yep, as a copy of Analyst. Alright, that gets them more of the black that they need. How do we feel about this? We still don't have any source of, like, real life gain. Now, notably, we will get this just spike. I'm gonna leave that on top, because if they go literally anything with, like, Liliana into Time Walk, I think I'm fine with swing. All right. Pray to God that it isn't ultimatum. The upside is that they do have to pay the 4 to actually get all the lands out. Oh, God. So, taking a look here. Lively Dirge, Brainstorm. They could try playing Nashi again. That helps. They weren't able to get the cave out. That's great for us. The tireless provisioner does make a bunch of treasures, but it's not like, you know, cracking the second analyst actually does anything. I'm glad that they didn't have the cave. That's something. Alright. Burrow. Burrow's gonna get him 3 life and draw him a card. Okay, we got there. We got there. We found the fast start that we needed, and for them, they just... Anytime that you have to use Nashi to copy islands, that's a bad time. They really, really wanted to hit like a time warp off of those milling effects. Time warp ultimatum. So we got really lucky there. Hey, boosty pack. Ooh, and another rare wild card. That means I can actually like do the mono greens. Oh god, there was something I was thinking about. What was it? Was it just like trying to put like an extra duress in the deck? Probably. When you're playing a lot of these tempo heavy aggro decks, a lot more than just Thoughtseize can go a long way. So like if you can run a duress, that does a lot of work. In terms of like I could probably cut the expel there. We have plenty of stuff that deals with permanents. Maybe a Banishing Light would be okay. You have Zoraline, so you could probably play like a Skyclave. Skyclave actually sounds pretty fucking sick now that I think about it. Just take a quick stock of like all the passive draw, because there's plenty of draw here. Put the Phyrexian Arena in there. We have the Call of the Ring. Ripples of Undeath is just aces. You've already got like... You've got Star Charter also passively acting. It's like, okay, maybe not a lot, but definitely not non-zero. You usually only need to see like 1 or 2 and you're fine. But knowing that Zoraline can get back other stuff, that is really, really interesting. That means that we actually can fit in a Skyclave. What about the discard enchantment that you level up? The discard enchantment? Let's see. Let's take a look here. Bandit's Talent. Each opponent discards 2 cards unless they discard a non-land. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player has 1 or fewer. They lose life. Beginning of your draw step. An additional card for each opponent who has 1 or fewer cards. I don't like it. That's a lot of mana to sink in for something that's really just more cute than anything else. I'd almost rather want to do like a Warlock's class, maybe. You could potentially play Scavenger's Talent if you want the extra life from the food. On top of that, I'd probably even consider like going Paladin class just to make the control matchups easier, because it starts taxing the opponents. Maybe I still think that you actually go with something like a Sign in Blood. I think if at this point all that passive draw is still not enough, and you need just more like ways to dig deeper, you're looking at either like a Village Ritual, a Sign in Blood. Village Rites actually wouldn't be bad, if only because... Ooh. Oh, you know what? I think this is actually fine. Hold on, what was I on about? Necrobloom. Lands.deck. God, I wish we had like just more dredge enablers for Necrobloom. You have life gain to pay the draw effects. That's not what I'm talking about though. Like, yeah, you have life gain to pay for the draw effects. But at some point, you know, you need like stuff to actually do with that draw. I'm gonna hold on to that Soul Shatter. Necropotence wouldn't be bad. Necropotence would be awful. Necropotence would be awful for the simple reason that this is a 2-color deck. And even in 2 colors, trying to get all of that going is a big ask. Especially if you're up against one of the myriad of monocolor decks and you really have to start fetching basics to avoid Winter Moon lockout. Fortunately, we have, like, gas for days here. Then on top of that, anything that does hit the graveyard with Necropotence out gets exiled, which means that you're not reanimating anything with Zoraline. Necropotence is a card I just never play unless I'm playing a control deck, playing a combo deck. Chaldred Edict means that Zoraline. Let's see, what? Necrobloom. I'll just play Zoraline and then I can get Amalia back next turn. That's already 1 Edict. Thalia and the Gitrog monster, are you for real? Thalia and the Gitrog monster. How do I feel about you? I want to get rid of you ASAP. But I think I have to Soul Shatter here. Like, the tempo is just too strong if they're allowed to get that going. This tentatively shuts down, like, all their draw. Oh, a 7/5 with reach. Okay. I see what you're on about now. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Let's do that. Okay. Well, Zoraline's gonna die if I have to attack. Ideally, I would get rid of these small things so I can Edict. But I can't. I don't even have an extra land, so we could Tree Battalion, try and get extra cards that way. We could also set up Flowering of the White Tree, hold up an Edict. Edict doesn't actually do anything. Selfless Spirit is cool. And lets us attack to get Amalia out. Amalia can start getting big. I think I'm going to pass. Pass Battalion, and then hopefully we'll be able to Season of Loss here. Alright, so that's Entis Restoration. They do get 3 lands off that. I can't do anything with it. 3 lands, but that's lands coming out where they don't have the Necrobloom out. I mean, they would just be getting, like, plants otherwise, but still. Yep, and we're gonna let all these triggers resolve. It's a creature reveal upon your hand if you don't put into your grave. It's just an uncommon, but, like, it's very solid. 7 power is a lot. Pock is a problem, but Pock doesn't fly. Dryad is obnoxious, but they already have, like, all the lands. It's really only, like, an amazing play once they start getting a draw engine going, which they currently don't have. Alright, here we go. Darkstar Banisher is cool. Forehand also digs us down a lot. So how do we want to do this? Because we get 2. We can take out the Dryad. We can take out the Pilgrim. And then if we draw into something, Seasonal Loss, we can get rid of the Territory color. Now let's get that. Alright. Now we can go ahead, exile the Dryad. Now we can go ahead, exile Pilgrim. There's the land we need. Now here's the awkward part. They get to seek a creature and an enchantment. I think I'm just accepting my fate here. Let's see, what can we get back? We can get back Amalia. I'm fine with that. It is what it is. Like, they go ahead, they block with the color, but now it trades. Is it great? No. But they no longer have reach, so these bats are free. We currently have 5, 6 mana. Zoraline doesn't have anything it would get back anyway, but Amalia gets huge. Elish Norn for double the zombies. Well, reanimating the territory caller. You mother hecker. After all that work I did. How many legendary creatures are in our deck? Does it matter? We're playing Flower of the White Tree because we want to go wide. It's an anthem. And it gives Zoraline the extra ward, which just helps out a lot. Like, any time that you're playing any sort of go wide deck and you have the white, you go ahead and you can play Flower in the White Tree because the extra protection just is so relevant so fast, so often. Oh god, this is a problem. Just worrying about Redaptric. Okay, at that point you're talking about playing a completely different deck than what this is. I can still Season of Loss. Let's see. Let's go ahead. We'll play the Selfless Spirit. We will do what exactly? Go ahead, attack. No attacks. Pass the turn. Well, Zoraline next turn, I think. Unfortunately, just... Maybe it would have been better to play the Season of Loss very specifically, so that way Elish Norn doesn't make an ass load of zombies. Because now... this happens. If you want to play Rata, I would recommend playing Rata. You can even put Zoraline into Rata, and that's really strong. That's bad. And then they get to draw a card. They can, like, dredge it out. Play more lands. Honestly, Zoraline is really cool. Just kind of like a general black-white mill commander. Like, I'm thinking dig through your deck, use Zoraline as a way to just bring back a bunch of enchantments and whatever. It's just kind of unfortunate for us that we didn't manage to hold on to, like, any sort of really big removal. And now the Season of Loss just does not do anything. I guess I can hold on to this to deal with a Planeswalker. Just don't think it's worth it. Might be cooked here, chat. Presley Bill and Pock on the next turn. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make them sacrifice the Kami, so that way if I draw, like, any other edicts, that gets easier. All right, Alice Norn. Actually, you know what? Yeah, fuck this. I'm out. Yeah, that was rough. Okay. So for the audience, I want to posit something. I am absolutely fine with suggestions, but remember, you can suggest cards, but you have to be willing to say what you take out for this. And I think a lot of the what this deck is built around, with it being bats, is part of what does make it kind of mid. I don't even have to do it like this. I can just go bat. One of the reasons that you play a lot of bats is because the life gain triggers are going to trigger and stack for each additional bat that you have. But there are also just a lot of bats that you normally would not play in any other circumstance. So, like, you can take out the Moonrise Cleric. I don't think the Star Charter actually works out. Mentor is really expensive for its cost. Soothsayer also doesn't do a whole lot. Harbinger is okay, because it does mean that a lot of the bats trade, at least. Familiar is probably one of the bigger cards. Augur is literally Bob. Cleric, I'd say, is really good for that. Soothsayer also gets there, but you're not really playing the Swift Swing. Cavern Bat at least is a Thoughtseize effect. Duo is a Soul Warden, but I've never really been happy to see it. So if you could take out, like, these 6 cards, then these are the bats that you're left with. But at that point, you do have the flexibility to try and round out your creatures again. So we'll just say, let's see, get in a little more interaction here. Click on the rares and rares just so we can see. So, like, you could run Esper Sentinel. That's a really good one. You could run Sarah Ascendant. If you can consistently get enough life gain going, Sarah Ascendant really good. One of the Eyes isn't bad. I'm trying to think of, like, something that's really cool, or something that's just, like, spikes the deck in potential power level. Regal Bunnycorn is an option there. You could try going, like, Death and Taxes, playing with Thalia. Adeline isn't bad. Adeline combined with, like, the Soul Sisters deck is pretty good. You can go ahead and you can play Boromir. I don't really like Delny here because she only doubles the power of 2 or less, and we're not doing that anymore. You could play Lauren if you want more disenchant removal. We've already got the Skyclave. I don't really want to go too hard on 3-drops, but you could absolutely start running Welcoming Vampire in order to get additional draw power. What else is here? If you want to go Aristocrats, you can go with stuff like Jadar. Priest of the Forgotten Gods is just like one of the pinnacle aristocrat cards. You can play like Sorin. What else is like really cool? But I want stuff that's on the cheap. You can play Lotho if you want. Begin your turn. This is when creatures die. There is Luris here if you want to put Luris in there. So yeah. Put some bats back in. Put like the best bat of the worst. I think if you're gonna talk about bats that way, want an extra white bat. Star Charter isn't bad. I like Star Charter, but you just want to go to the brown bats. Discard a card. Learns probably not like the worst thing. Either Lost Life, Surveil. You know what? Yeah, give me that Starlight. There's a bunch of different ways you can take Zoraline. I wanted to do the reanimate approach, but I think Alice Oak War is probably just like better for that. Old Ristine. But we're on the play. I'll take it. We get to lead off with Backstreet. Go into Soul Warden, Oscillate Pride. Hollow Priest goes away because it's not a land. Cleric is cool. Rusting decks are so dependent on being able to hit the Bloodright card. Oh, there's Inquisition. That's literally my whole hand. Take your pick. Personally, I like taking out the Augur. Oscillate Pride can run away really quickly, but so can Voice of the Blessed. I don't have the double white to play Voice of the Blessed, though, so you're less likely to see me actually hit that on the board. On curve. What am I playing, though? I'm probably going to go Swamp if I don't hit another land. Oh, they took the Oscillate. Okay. I'll go ahead and play Swamp. And then here's the Cleric. I think I play the Guide of Souls first. Even if it is more mana efficient to play the Cleric first, I want to get the... Ooh, hello. That changes everything. Alright, so here's the guide that you did not want me to get. Here's Unearth. You get back the Pride. I see you playing a Misty Rainforest because it fetches for green. Alright, pass the turn. Now we get to start making tokens. If we draw into a land, we'll just go straight into Augur so we can start refilling our hand. Otherwise, it's going to be probably Cleric. Whew. Yep, alright, there's all Rustine, so they're going to try and start digging up. Land hits treasure. Pretty good for them. Ooh, this is pretty good for a cat like me. Alright, go ahead. Offspring. We're definitely not going to... Wait, no, we can absolutely attack him with the Oscillate Pride now. That's great. Yep, go ahead, pay the 4 energy. Oscillate Pride now becomes an angel. Makes the Voice of the Blessed even bigger. Oh, and now we have triple Bob. Damn. This got out of hand really fast. See, if we had more starts like this, if we, mulliganed a little harder, I don't think some of these games are outside of our reach. Doing stuff like this is what we want to do. Notably, I think this still dies to Deadly Cover-Up. No! Doesn't look like they gathered evidence. If evidence was gathered... Okay. Well... let's go ahead. Grab... Snow. Play Zoraline. Hey, the cost in Zoraline. Let's see. We can grab Oscillate Pride. I think I want the Augur instead. Zoraline starts attacking. We can go ahead, get the cat out, get more cats again. Try and rebuild our big flyer. That might be the better play. We've also got Cleric that we can run out. That's going to be double life loss. Playing Cleric for Offspring that drains 4. That puts him at 9. Actually, hold on. Is that lethal? So this is 5 by itself. This drains him for 4 if we Offspring. puts them down to 1. That means they can't use any of their life gain effects reliably. Alright, there's Amalia. Alright, there we go. That's the win. That's the win. Ow, ow. Crunchy, ow. And I think that's probably a good one to end it on. We'll take a look at the deck. We will take an honest evaluation and everything. And then I will wrap it up. Alright. So, how are we feeling about the deck after running it through? Well, like I was saying before that last game, I think the weakest part of trying to build bat-themed deck is actually trying to figure out how many of the bats are worth playing. We took out a few towards the end there, but we still have 13, and that is not a small number of bats. Some of these bats do have really good utility. I think Starscape Cleric is really good. I think the Darkstar Augur is an all-star Darkstar. The fact that you get double, potentially even triple Bob with the Oscillate Pride is really good. Actually, I just really like Oscillate Pride with all of the Offspring cards, so that's really helpful. I think you would definitely want to think about putting in just a tad more filtering. Like what chat was saying earlier on, that's probably correct. We did end up adding in the One Ring later on. I feel like the One Ring is a much better card for this deck than something like Necropotence. Because with Necropotence, you are going to be really strained for color. As we saw earlier, we were actually having a little bit of trouble hitting both Voice and Grand Abolisher, and then also being able to play additional white spells. And in a deck where your white spells are really important, Necropotence can be more of a hindrance than a help. That being said, the One Ring ends up being really good for this deck. I did not edit it in because, to be honest, I just forgot the One Ring is one of those cards where I'm not actively looking to add into a lot of decks unless Shouldred is available. And this was not a deck that I wanted to put Shouldred in, even though you could very easily fit this in and make this a bit more mid-rangey. I think Season of Loss is actually just one of the losers here. It's very usually just a full board wipe if you play it fast enough. But as we saw, there were a lot of instances where we had a board and we did not want to give that up in order to play Season Loss. That's potentially just pilot error. Maybe I shouldn't be so precious with my board state and just wipe the heckin' board, but when I have a chance. But I would consider cutting Season of Loss for another card that would potentially target things either a little more precisely or one of the rafts that we can bend a little more to our will. For example, we had the citywide bus, so we could potentially cut the season. We could go ahead and grab, say... let's see, where is it? The Battle of Bywater is probably along the lines of what we would want anyway. We could go ahead and play that. Path of Peril would not be a bad one if you want to stop a lot of the decks that go a lot wider than we can. A really fast aggressive deck could actually take this out really easily. Let's see. Reset those filters real quick. What is going on? This is also just one of those decks where it's going to be very easy to spot increased upgrades as we go. So, for example, anytime a good bat comes out, it's going to be an easy slot in. And it really depends on what you want to do. I can't believe I missed the fact that Zoraline grabs any non-land permanent. Like, that is incredibly silly and makes it just so much better. It means that you can go ahead and grab the Incubator, the Banner, the Arena, and you can just loot through some of these with Call of the Ring. Pretty awesome. Honestly, it's not a lot to say. I probably could have put a lot more effort into thinking about the deck as is. I think there is some really cool stuff you could run. Running Radiber deck is a really enticing option. I'm not a big fan of like the combo, but like you could. And that's really about it. As always, the deck is going to be on the Moxfield. Let's see. Taking a look at what we're going to be doing next week. Once again, we are going to be just tuning things up. I really want to get the Derevi deck online. I was so excited to get Derevi going. But the deck is kind of a mess right now, to say the least. I think I'm probably focused a little too hard on trying to do something that's really, really strong with Derevi. We're going to have some fun stuff that I have in mind. We're going to be trying to abuse Winter Moon. Howling Mine is another good one with Derevi because it turns it into a 2-mana, one-sided draw engine. I love that. Derevi can also just be like a really strong tempo card, but without a lot of the coastal piracy effects, is it even worth it? It might not be. I don't know. We're going to have to like do some messing around. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to have our seasonal State of Brawl, where we go ahead, go through what we have seen in the recent meta. Just to kind of like do a quick little preview. Hold on to the commanders. All right, so like take a look at this. I don't think that there have been a lot of standouts because this is actually a very small pool of commanders. I think Rao Crackling Wit saw a lot of play. Eluge was definitely the standout in terms of big cards. So was Cruel Claw. And then that's kind of it. I did see some Dragonhawk decks early on. I saw some Maha, It's Feathers Knight. Also, we just didn't get a whole lot of Magic streams this season. That's partially because there were just a lot of Mondays where a lot of stuff was happening, so it happens. It is what it is. I guess Yeager, Eater of All was... We also saw some of that. But it's going to be an interesting one. I've got some thought. So, moving this on over, we'll go ahead and pass off the stream. If we have our settings correct. And then, looks like we're all good. So then, reminder that we're not going to be streaming on Friday. On Monday, we will be back. And we're going to be doing some more of our maintenance. More of our tuning up. I think Fish is good. Ellis, we'll play some Feather, Ellis. I really want to see if I can get the Lagrella and the Inazumon decks back on. So then, we'll see you next time, folks. Same hero time.